Today we're going to practice how to find a fraction on a number line. Let's review our vocabulary words. Our first word is fraction. This is a number that names part of a whole or part of a group. Next we have the numerator, and that's how many parts are being counted. It's our number that goes on top. And the denominator is our total number of equal parts, and that's our number that goes on the bottom. So how can you represent and locate fractions on a number line? Remember, a fraction names part of a whole, and so on a number line, fractions are in between the whole numbers. So this number line we have 0 and 1, so anything in between is going to be a fraction. So if we have a point that's in between, we can label that point with 1/2 because the green line is halfway between 0 and 1. We divided the whole into two pieces. So if we're trying to name the fraction shown by the star, we want to count the number of spaces between whole numbers. This will be our denominator, because remember our denominator is the total number of equal parts. So we want to see how many parts are between 0 and 1. So we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Since there are 4 parts between 0 and 1, our denominator is going to equal 4. So this will be the bottom number of our fraction. To find the numerator, we want to count the number of spaces until we get to the star. This is how many parts are being counted. 1, 2, 3. So it was 3 jumps or 3 spaces until we got to the star. So my numerator equals 3. So when I write my fraction, I want to remember it took 3 jumps to get to the star out of 4 jumps in the whole. So my fraction is 3/4. So the star is equal to 3 out of 4 pieces. Let's turn our papers over. And let's practice another one. We're going to write the fraction that names each point. So first we want to find our denominator. And remember, our denominator is the total number of spaces in the whole. So the number of spaces between 0 and 1. So we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And make sure you're counting the spaces and not just counting the tick marks on the number line. You want to count the space in between the tick marks. So for both fractions, our denominator is going to be the total number of spaces. So both fractions have a denominator of 8. So I'm going to write an 8 for both denominators. To find my numerators, that's our top number, the number of spaces that we are counting, the number of spaces to get to that point. I'm going to count the spaces until I get first to the orange diamond. 1, 2, 3. So it took 3 spaces to get to the orange diamond. So 3 out of the 8 spaces, or 3/8. So my fraction for the orange diamond is 3/8. To find my fraction for the yellow circle, I'm going to continue counting on top of my number line until I get to the yellow circle. So I've already counted 3 spaces to get to the orange diamond, so I'm going to continue from there. 4, 5. So my numerator for the yellow circle should be 5. Because it was 5 spaces until I got to the yellow circle out of the 8 spaces in between 0 and 1, my 8 spaces in the whole. So 5 out of 8 or 5/8. Now you try. Answer the questions on your paper. And remember, the numerator, the top number, is the number of spaces or jumps to get to the point. And the denominator, the bottom number, is the total number of spaces between the whole numbers, or the total number of spaces between 0 and 1. And remember to count the spaces and not the tick marks.